to review and discuss fluoride. E. Jane Crocker, RDH, Assistant Treasurer, Massachusetts Dental Hygienists Association, Chair. Worcester component to discuss fluoride on behalf of Heather Abu from DPH.
Yes, I don't really know if that's how you say your name. And I'm actually here on behalf of BOMAG, which is the Better Oral Health Coalition of Massachusetts, which is who Heather got in touch with, which I'm their fluoridation chair. And I hate cameras and I hate speaking in public, but I try. Ask Phil, he would know that I get up in front of I'm from Templeton, and we're on the 8th year in a row that they have a citizen's petition for fluoride to take it out of the water. I gave Carrie some more information. I can tell you all that any questions that you need to know regarding fluoride, ADA.org, they have a fluoridation fact manual, which they just published a new one. And I apologize, I was going to bring a copy, but it didn't get to me in time. And then the American Fluoridation Society.org is great. It has every question that might be in opposition. It's got a great answer for it. I don't want to, Bob Tzeski, is that how you say his name? No. Okay. Had sent something asking about what the other towns were using for fluoride, and I believe that Shrewsbury uses the same as Templeton, and a lot of the opponents, I said, will say it's from China, blah, blah, blah. And one of the papers that I gave you goes in and gives, or that I gave Carrie, sorry. Once it goes through all the standard testing coming into the United States, it's like a moot point that it's coming from China. It is approved by the National Sanitation Foundation, American Net, to their standards, and the American Water Works Association. So there's a lot of good information about that. As far as anybody who is for fluoride can say, it's scientifically proven that it prevents decay. There's no evidence on the anti-fluoridation people's side that gives you scientific evidence. I gave another one, which is attached to the coming from China for immediate release. It just came out May 2nd. The National Toxicology Program found no link between elevated levels of fluoride and the cognitive learning. All of the things that they fight and say, oh, your IQ is lower. There's no credible studies that will prove that. And this was actually, I think, the newest one that I gave Carrie was asked for by the anti-fluoride people because they wanted proof, again, that they were right, and they're not. And it was an independent study, so it's great. I don't know if there's any other questions. I know Stephen had mentioned that they were talking about a mouth rinse program. As far as I know, that would be the Swish and Spit program that was in Worcester, but they've actually elevated that to a better level of using fluoride varnish quite a few years ago. So I don't know anybody who's doing Swish and Spit through the Department of Public Health. I believe it's all varnish. I looked at the things that you had, the Amesbury DPW taking it out of the water. I'm getting an update on that. I just haven't heard back. I don't know what the background article was. The fluoridated communities, I can get you an up-to-date list on that. I know it's not dated, but it usually doesn't change that much. Just, again, as a Board of Health, I would hope that you would support community water fluoridation because it is definitely the way to go. And on a personal level, I can say I grew up without it. My children grew up with it. Other than my 34-year-old who currently has cancer, they haven't had cavities. And he has had a few recently, and I'm sure it's probably related to something else because his mouth is dry. But I grew up with so many cavities, and every time it was like, how can I have 8 more? I don't think I have that many more teeth. So I believe as a Board of Health, you are in support of fluoride, and that's basically, if you have any other questions, I'd be more than happy to address them or get back to you if I don't have the answer. And when is your annual town meeting? Did it already occur, or can they?
May 2 weeks from Monday, or Is it May 20,
Starts,
the 21st?
21st.
Yep.
21st, May 21st.
Okay, like Phil says, it starts, so it can go on for nights. Do they, because they took it off, or they're saying they're withdrawing it, can they bring it back up, or are they legally, I believe, are, however it goes, they have to get up on the floor and say, we're withdrawing this warrant?
They still have to vote on
They're
it.
gonna recommend the
To
defeat.
withdraw.
I don't think you can technically withdraw a warrant article.
Yeah,
but
they
you
have
can
to vote it up or down.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna vote, but it sounds like given that the proponents are gonna recommend its defeat, it'll probably just be voted on and defeated
Yeah,
without discussing the merits, is what I'm assuming.
the article will be on the warrant, but the proponents are going to make a statement to the effect that they would recommend that it be voted no at this point in time.
And do you think there's any chance that they would change that recommendation and want to continue with it?
have
I
no
think their
reason to
intent
believe
is to
that.
bring it back at a later time.
Bring it back at a later
yes.
time,
I think
okay.
that I think the message is not that fluoride is bad, but that people should have a choice.
The choice,
And I think they're
right.
going to try to vet out the mouthwash program, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting, because like I said, I don't believe that even exists anymore. I think it's a fluoride varnish, which if they're,
Because because I think their recommendation was, that apparently there's a program where it's administered at the schools.
at the schools, yep,
Yes,
yep,
so
and
they
now,
wanted to
yeah.
bring in,
I think they wanted to figure that piece out a little bit and figure out how that works. And I think that from the start of the work, it looks like that product is provided by the state to the.
DPH, yeah, and it's,
But
yeah.
I think there's obviously some pieces that if you're going to promote that, you have to figure out who's doing it and how do you do it and.
Right,
schools obviously want to be
Right.
able to work through that piece.
Right, do you
The-
opt in, do you
school
opt out,
committee, yeah.
who signs what, you know?
And then, folks that aren't in the school system or homeschooled or, there's a lot of factors there.
Yes,
Not
so they,
everybody goes to Shrewsbury
Not-
Public Schools.
On another note,
Private
Jane is a Board of Health member in Templeton. Is very familiar with citizens petitions with fluoride that come up, how many years now?
Annually?
been since 2012. I'm a
Annually.
member of the board thanks to Phil, because I think I spoke up once. So. He's like, wouldn't you like to run for Board of Health?
right, this will come back. I just think they need time
I
to
think this is,
figure
it was in a couple years ago, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, okay.
Last year and the year before.
Okay,
Yeah, we
I
did it
didn't
twice,
remember,
right?
twice, okay.
That
And-
was a straight up pull fluoride out. This is a pull fluoride out, but offer this option, I think. Let people choose.
I think that, yeah, and they'll go, anti-fluoridation people will go through many different angles in trying to get what they want in a different way. I know in Templeton, they want a warning on the water bill. You get your water report, it's there. There's no reason for a warning. The next one was, it's not good for baby formula, which it says right on most of the baby formulas to use different kinds of water. But it's not going to harm the child either. They're not looking at the scientific evidence. They're going with the emotionally charged scare tactics, basically. So, I mean, if it's something that you feel you're not comfortable with and you need somebody to speak at the town meeting or whatever, there's many of us that rapid responders
Right.
that can come out and help out. And again, I gave Carrie more information. I am trying to get you a copy of the fluoridation facts, that most updated one. But that AmericanFluoridationSociety.org, the doctor or the dentist who is on it, Johnny Johnson, is absolutely wonderful. And I can even give you his phone number if you don't like what he said. He's willing to help out in any way. He lives in Florida and he's fantastic. So, like I said again, if you need anything, let me know. And I will be more than happy to. And I'll get you the updated list of that. In Amesbury, I know there was a thing on that. I'm getting an update on that as well for you. Because was that something they brought up or a question
What's that?
about Amesbury, that they took it out of the water?
I'm not sure.
It was an email. Let's see. Where did I see that?
I don't remember.
Daily News article. Somebody, I don't know, says email correspondence with Robert and Maria, yourself, but then underneath a news article, I don't know if that's something that they brought up, checking, but,
I think that was from Bob Cizeski
okay.
that he gave
Oh,
you.
that he sent to me
Yes,
about,
and I shared
yeah.
with the board, yeah.
Very shortly after those discussions, Melissa Pride sent her communication that said they were gonna recommend defeat. And so I think I tabled it in my head until we move forward.
And also, if you think that they're gonna bring it up again, a good way to go about things is, getting dentists. I know a couple dentists that live in Shrewsbury. Hygienists, which I can help with, and citizens who are for fluoride and can tell you the benefits of it or feel that they know the benefits of it to get up and speak. Or I don't know how your town meetings run, if they're like ours, at least one in positive and one in negative. And then ask somebody to call for a vote, because the negatives will try to take over the floor forever. Usually they're missing a few teeth, just saying. But if you need anything else, let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
So the information that Jane had brought today, I will scan and send this to you sometime today.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay.
Keep it too, Carrie, because we'll need it.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
We'll need it
Okay.
again
Thank you. Take care.
over the year. We should probably see how it plays out, but
Okay, the next